generation, God chooses to glorify himself in the ending of child sacrifice. And may it start right here with the Church of South Carolina, and then spread to the nation, and then to the world. And may Jesus Christ, our King, receive every drop of glory for it.
Amen. I love what he said about rising up. Men needing to be men. Men needing to be ready to fight. Ladies being ready to fight for what's right, to protect children.
You need to do the right thing. You need to fear God. You need to comply with the Constitution. You need to overturn Roe. But guess what? If you do not do so, we, the states, are and will preparing to abolish abortion as murder anyway.
Amen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sean with the New Columbia Movement. Welcome back to our channel. So I'm out here today at the South Carolina State Capitol. We just finished up with an amazing anti-abortion rally. A lot of good speakers. You guys don't know him, but this is Johnny. He is my deputy for the Southeast chapter.
That's me.
So he's been helping me out a lot lately. We've been growing. We've been getting a lot of new guys in. So just wanted to do a quick update and talk about what happened here today, because it's been absolutely amazing. First of all, we had a great turnout. A lot of us drove several hours just to come down here and be able to bear witness to what's happening in this country, which is a reversion to Christian principles. And we're seeing this more and more. More people are realizing that the politicians are failing because, as a lot of the speakers said here today, they're not putting Christ first. A lot of the policies are coming from secular worldviews, and this is never going to be a solution. So we have to continue, especially as Christians, to hammer home that this is a Christian nation. And if we're not going to be a Christian nation, we're not going to be a successful nation. Christianity and the moral principles that stem from Christianity are absolutely the bedrock of any successful nation. And this is what we embody as Christian nationalists. And more people are becoming receptive to this idea. And so in order to do this effectively, we have to be good stewards, and we have to advocate responsibly on behalf of these ideas and this mission. You have to become the individual that people want to be, because we are living in a post-rational society. And the more and more that we try to convince people through rational thought, when men are literally putting on dresses and calling themselves women, we're going to continue to fail. So stand up, be a man, be a good Christian man, advocate on behalf of Christian moral principles, and bring people to this movement, bring people to this fight. Of course, us as the New Columbia Movement, we're constantly seeking more and more people to come on board and be a part of this fight, and we're actually looking to localize. Part of this whole effort is us actually getting out here in beautiful South Carolina, Columbia State Capitol, and to talk with people, to hand out business cards, and to show our support as a movement, because we don't succeed by knocking on the doors of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. We succeed by actually achieving good change down here at state capitals. And if it's not at the state capitol, it's at your local legislator. It's at your local school board. So what are you doing in your local community to actually make a difference? Are you participating?
Absolutely. Today we were partnered with an organization called End Abortion Now, run by Jeff Durbin out in Tempe, Arizona. He gave a very powerful message, and at one point he said that it was one man that talked to him and told him what he needed to be doing. He said, if you can live your entire life with you and your church, and you can go down to an abortion mill and you can save one baby, the Lord's going to say, good, well done, good and faithful servant. You obeyed my command, and you did what I told you to do. It's the simple activism. It's the getting up in the morning. It's not the running up to the Capitol, yelling and screaming, marching with 27,000, and then going home and doing nothing else with your life. It's every day waking up, having conversations, proclaiming Christ's the King. Christ first, Christ always, and Christ forever reigns. And we reign with him. We are his power and his mouthpiece on earth. And it's time that the church starts acting like it. For example, down here in the South, we've got the Southern Baptist Convention. There's about 1 million people in the Southern Baptist Convention, just in South Carolina alone. Do you know how many people 1% of that 1 million could be getting out, getting to the state capitol building, getting to the abortion mills, getting rid of all this murder that's happening in our country, reinstilling Christian values? Do you know what kind of good that would do? Oh, but just you can't do much. If you're going to be part of the New Columbia Movement, if you're going to join this brotherhood of faith, family, and fraternity, it's not going to be a sit-on-your-butt kind of job. You got to get out and work. But the Lord's faithful to provide, and the Lord's faithful to show fruit. And if you'll get out there and you'll work a little bit, you got good brothers to do it with. And we've got a good chance. Hail Christ, hail the coming kingdom. Let's go be a productive part of it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, so as we said, if you're interested in becoming part of the movement, please do reach out to us. You can email us. You can check us out on social media. We're not going to win this cultural fight with weak, effeminate men. So start improving yourself, start improving your community, become a part of our community, and let's work together to fix this nation. God bless.
You're a lot of speakers, so I'm going to be short today. But I want to talk about the failures that have brought us here and what we need to do to fix this in the practicals. It's one thing to have nice ideology. Lots of folks are good at articulating their ideology, but our orthopraxy must be their orthodoxy.
Amen.
Ideology doesn't change things. Talking a good talk doesn't change things. Having the right ideas doesn't change things. I've read a lot of philosophy, read a lot of theology. I like intellectual pursuits, but ultimately the rubber meets the road. I run a construction business. You have to swing a hammer. You have to build things. You have to do the dirty work of building things. Being an architect is wonderful, but being a builder is what gets the building built. All right, you got to get your hands dirty. You got to know how to swing a hammer. You got to know how to problem solve. You got to deal with the flawed realities that are in front of us and figure out solutions. And so what we've seen is that pro-life people, and I'm thankful in many ways for the pro-life movement. I'm thankful for those who recognize this Holocaust, Planned Parenthood and their ilk, what they foisted on the nation. I'm thankful that many have said we need to fight that. We need to stand up against that. We need to do something against that. So I'm thankful for many of the sacrifices of those who have been a part of the pro-life movement. We must recognize there has been abject failure. There has been an unwillingness to fight the hard fights, to say the hard things, and to ground ourselves theologically and biblically, display the kind of courage that Christ displayed, laying our lives down. Amen. And so I lived through the George Bush era when Republican pro-lifers controlled all three branches of our federal government for 6 long years. And what was accomplished? Nothing. Nothing. And I supported Donald Trump despite his many flaws, despite his many flaws. I didn't support him because of his great policies or because of his great articulation or because I like Trump, and I think people like Trump because the man was willing to fight and take on the political establishment of both parties. Now, he didn't do that perfectly. I readily understand it, but people are looking for leadership. They're looking for men who will stand up and have some fight to them. Right. And sadly, that's rarely seen amongst pro-life leaders in our country. I've spoken in legislative halls all over this nation, and I can tell you when you talk to political insiders, the pro-life lobby is the most easily pacified political lobby in our nation, the most easily pacified. And that ought not be the case. That earlier was talking about the successes of the gun rights lobbyists. Why is that the one issue conservatives have been winning on? We haven't been winning on lowering taxes or stopping government spending. Certainly haven't been winning in stopping the LGBT agenda. Certainly haven't been winning when it comes to the killing of the preborn children. But we've been winning on guns, relatively speaking. Why is it? Because you know what gun people say? You touch my guns, I'll blow your head off. Okay? Gun guys like to fight. Gun guys have some fight in them.
That's right.
And that is exactly what we need, is some backbone and some willingness to stand up and fight. These babies deserve it.
Amen.
Love demands it. Love demands it. Jesus demands it. Amen. And so I lived through the Donald Trump era. 2016, Donald Trump swept into power. Republicans, supermajorities. We had 32 state governments controlled by pro-life people. All 3 branches of our federal government controlled by pro-life majorities. 32 states and all 3 branches of our federal government. And what happened? Is there a policy victory on behalf of preborn children that we can celebrate? Mike Pence declared that life is winning again in America. Sounds like winning defined by the Cleveland Browns. Sorry for the Cleveland friends here, but I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, so we got picked back, right? Life is not winning in this country. Babies are being slaughtered. What pro-lifers are good at doing is winning elections. We're good at winning elections. You got to say you're pro-life to get elected. So all these majorities, all this power, all this influence, all this investment, and it all gets bottlenecked. In our state houses in Washington, D.C., at the top of our power structures, it all gets bottlenecked. And it does not translate into any substantive change or action. Why is that? Because we have cowardly politicians who don't fear God, and also they don't fear us. How many of you know we are God's instruments of fear sometimes? They need to be afraid of us. They need to be afraid of being ousted from office. We need to do the hard work of going into key legislative districts, rolling up our sleeves, knocking on doors, talking to neighbors, educating people, motivating them to get out and support godly candidates running for office, to support godly men who are fighting for them. We've got to do the hard work. It's not enough to just talk about it. Don't just come here and applaud and talk about it. Get involved in a political campaign. Get involved in the grassroots work. Get involved in building the building. Don't just be the architect or the armchair quarterback. Okay? Get involved. Get involved. Get involved. The other thing that keeps it is there's a fear of the Supreme Court. Everybody tells us we can't change anything because the Supreme Court has ruled. That is a lie from the pit of hell. We need to proclaim that. The Supreme Court is not God. They are not ultimately supreme. The Supreme Court bows to the Constitution of the United States. They have no authority outside of the Constitution of the United States. They cannot strip away the liberties and rights of individuals. They cannot deny the humanity of preborn children lawfully nor legally. And anybody who submits to such an opinion of the court is affirming their lawlessness, is acting unlawfully, is acting ungodly, and is perpetuating injustice and the trampling of our Constitution. Don't let a politician tell you that they must obey the law. If they were committed to obeying the law, they would stand up against the lawless court who's overstepping their lawful constitutional boundaries. We have a system of checks and balances. We have a system of federalism, layers and levels and branches of government that when one gets out of its lane, the others must correct them. We need our legislative and our executive branches to stand up to the courts and defy them and protect these little innocent ones. Amen?
Amen.
So let's proclaim this. May God bless you. Thank you for being here. And keep fighting.